questions that you may have on your mind today. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Moumita Rahman, and I'm an immigration attorney. I have been practicing immigration law for the past 15 years, and it is my pleasure to do the work that I do because I believe that immigrants make America great already. So thank you for joining me. Let me know what country you're from, what state you are in, and if you are a current client, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your patience and for all of your trust in us as we work on your case. All right, go Sport Prick. Thank you so much. Says the best lawyer in New York. Thank you so much. All right, guys, I have a really, really important question to ask you guys today. What can you do if your U.S. citizen spouse or your spouse in general threatens to call immigration on you? Are you living in the situation where your spouse is constantly threatening you with immigration? What if your spouse is not even a U.S. citizen and they're still threatening you with deportation or with calling immigration? This is a serious question that we have to get into today because this affects more people than you realize. But before I start answering it, I want to go ahead and say hi to all of you. I see a lot of people joining me who are from Mexico. Thank you so much. I love to see my Mexicanos here. And also a lot of people here from New York, from India. Thank you so much for joining. Hello, hello. Florida, we got a lot of clients in Florida. You guys are going through it in Florida. I know that. And thank you for joining. All right. So let's go ahead and answer this question. Brown, you're asking if anyone has gotten their pre-approval for the T visa. Brown, we are not seeing a lot of pre-approvals. We got a very few amount of pre-approvals when they announced it. And then after that, like it's been like a hit or miss, and we haven't really seen any in our office. Okay. But let's talk about what to do if your citizen spouse or your non-citizen spouse keeps threatening to call immigration on you. First of all, let's talk about what this is. If your spouse is threatening to call immigration on you, threatening to call police on you, let's call this for what it is. It is manipulation and it is emotional abuse. Because why else would they know? They know that you're undocumented. They know that maybe your immigration status is not fixed. They know that maybe you are relying on them for papers. And when they call immigration or when they threaten to call immigration on you, it is nothing but pure threats to try to scare you, to try to manipulate you, to basically try to control you. And I want to talk to you about two scenarios, right? What happens if your spouse is a citizen or a green card holder, and what happens if they're not? Because believe it or not, even if your spouse is not a U.S. citizen, this may still be something that you need to know about so you can take action to protect yourself. But let's first talk about what to do if your spouse is a U.S. citizen and they're threatening to call immigration on you. Number one, if your spouse is a U.S. citizen or a green card holder and they threaten to call immigration on you, you may end up qualifying for something called a VAWA self-petition. And what the VAWA self-petition is it's a form of self-protection. It's a form of being able to apply for a green card by yourself without your spouse. And this is available for people who are married to either a United States citizen or to a green card holder, or who have had and they have lived together with their spouse for any period of time, and it's a real marriage, right? And if you're in a real marriage, your spouse is threatening you, you may kind of like brush this off as something that's not serious, but it is very serious, because why else would they do it except to intimidate you? And if they're trying to intimidate you, they're trying to control you, and your life is not something that you can live freely on your own. And as a result, you may qualify for the VAWA self-petition. Give me just 1 second. I have to. So if that is the case, I do want you to give us a phone call. And I have a special announcement to make. If you call right now, we can book you for an appointment to speak with me tomorrow. I only have 4 spots available tomorrow to speak with me for a consultation during the hours of 10 a.m. to I'm doing it until 2 p.m. So give us a call right now, 212-248-7907. And I will have 4 more spots available on Monday. So call right now if you want to speak with me about your case. Because at the end of the day, if you're living a life where your spouse is constantly threatening you with the worst thing that can happen to you, right? We all know how bad immigration is right now. And especially if your spouse keeps making comments about the current president and about how you're going to get got, about how you better be careful even more right now, that is no way to live. And you deserve a lot more than that, okay? 212-248-7907. Now, what happens if your spouse is not a U.S. citizen, right? What happens if they don't have a green card? they don't have US citizenship, but they still threaten you, right? They still threaten you. And I want to open your mind to the fact that maybe your spouse is threatening you with more things than just immigration. Maybe they're threatening to call IRS on you. Maybe they're threatening to call police on you. Maybe your spouse has called police on you. And if your spouse is not a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, but you are living in a marriage or a relationship where you're constantly having to comply to their demands, cook their meals, keep the house clean, do all sorts of things. Maybe you're pressured to do things in the bedroom because they threaten you that if you don't do this, then they're going to call immigration on you, that you're going to get in trouble, then this may also qualify you for a case called the T visa. Moreover, if your spouse has also physically harmed you, it doesn't matter if they're a U.S. citizen or green card holder either. They can also not have status. You may qualify for something called the U visa if you have also suffered crime, okay? So give us a call, 212-248-7907. Okay, I've got some questions. How long is VAWA is taking in 2025 from 589 Annie? Annie, I would say that it's pretty much taking about the same as last year. We're seeing approvals come in any time between 3.5 years to 4 years. And then, of course, once your VAWA is approved, then you get sent over for your approval for the green card if you do qualify for that, okay? And let's see what other questions I have. Ole is saying, I'm from Mauritania. I really need your help ASAP. Can I reach you today? Give us a call, Ole, 212-248-7907. Now, I want to make it very clear that even though I'm an immigration attorney, we only work with a limited amount of cases, including VAWA, T visas, U visas, and also marriage green card cases. So please give us a call. We'll ask you some questions to make sure that we can help you, okay? Can you take a look from Luca? Yes, if you're in line for me to look at your case, then definitely I'm going to be looking at it soon, okay? Luca, maybe you can just give the office a call just to remind so I know exactly which client you are. Faisal, hello. VAWA, Horaz, Mian. VAWA proof I-485 RFE wasn't delivered and missing, requested a copy, but no answer yet. What's missing? Okay, this is a very serious question. What happens if you got a request for evidence in your immigration case, but you check the portal online, you see that you got a request for evidence, but you haven't gotten it yet. Now, first of all, I want to make sure that you give them enough time to deliver the RFE to you, right? It could take anywhere from a week to 2 weeks sometimes to get mail, which is unfortunate, especially if you have a request for evidence, then that cuts down into the time that you have left to respond. But if you truly have not received the RFE, if it shows that it's lost, then you can put in a service request for a redelivery. Eventually the bad news is that you might still get a denial. And this is the unfortunate truth. There's a lot of things happening with immigration. People are getting denials, receipts are taking a long time. There's a lot of mess happening there, which is affecting people's lives. And if you do end up getting a denial of your I-485 because they say that you never responded to the RFE because it got lost and you never got it, so you wouldn't even know what to respond to. One of the things that I could say is that you might be able to reopen your case through an appeal. And you can show clear evidence that it got lost. That's what you'd have to do, though. You'd have to show clear evidence that it was lost, okay? I hope that helps. Ambi, hello. I'm your T visa client. When should I expect pre-approval or approval? Wait time was 17.5 months when filed. Ambi, thank you so much for being a client. I don't think I can tell from your username exactly who you are, but thank you so much. I appreciate you being a client very much. So if you have filed for a T visa, right now I do believe that they have slowed down just a little bit in the T visa approval process, but I would still say that you should still give it an average of about 1.5 to 2 years for the final decision on your T visa case. As far as the pre-approval, I regret to say that we are not seeing a lot of bona fide determinations come out from USCIS for the T visa cases. There really seems to be no rhyme or reason about why they issue a bona fide determination on T visa case or why they don't. We did get some in the beginning when they made this announcement, but I think lately they're not really giving this out right now. So that means that you're going to have to wait for the actual final approval, which we still expect it to come anytime between 1.5 to 2 years. And that is a great reason why everybody needs to know about the T visa. The T visa is currently, out of all the cases that are available to people who have unlawful entry, who need to do a humanitarian case, who might have the perm bar, the permanent bar is one of the toughest immigration consequences to try to fix. but you can still be able to fix the perm bar and still be able to get a green card through a few different types of cases, including VAWA, the T visa, and the U visa. And you must know about this, right? Because a lot of people live their lives thinking that nothing can be done at all about their situation. And the T visa really is one of those things that is so special because, it's a broad. It gives. There's a lot of things that can help qualify for the T visa, and there are a lot of immigration problems that can be waived and pardoned through the T visa, including unlawful entry, permanent bar, a prior deportation order, also false claim to U.S. citizenship, which some of you may have because maybe you use some U.S. citizenship documents to work or something like that. So it's really something you should all know about. The unfortunate reality, though, is that not a lot of lawyers know about the T visa or know how to work on a T visa case. But I'm going to break it down in very, very simple elements for you right now so that even you as a non-lawyer can understand what makes for a T visa. And it's a very simple concept. I want you to think about whether or not you have ever been in any sort of relationship, whether it's a work relationship or even a personal relationship, maybe a family relationship, where somebody above you, somebody on top of you basically got you to do things. They got you to do things because you came to understand or you came to be told that if you didn't do what they said, you would suffer a harm. You would suffer some physical harm or some loss of freedom, or somebody you love would be hurt, or you would get in trouble somehow, right? Because a lot of people think that, okay, if I'm undocumented and I'm working in a job and, I don't want to lose my job, and that's why I do what they say, right? Maybe your boss forces you to climb a ladder without your safety equipment, your harness. Maybe your boss forces you to stay late and doesn't pay you. And maybe you might come to me and say, Moumita, I did all that because I didn't want to lose my job. But is that really true? Because there are a lot of jobs out there, right? Even if you're undocumented, it's not always, it's not always impossible. This is how this country runs, is on the backs of undocumented persons who don't, and the backs of immigrants. However, what I want you to ask yourself is, were there times that you heard that this person, threaten immigration, say that, oh, you won't get a job elsewhere, or, oh, if you don't do what I say, the last person that didn't listen to me, I sent them to jail, or I got them in trouble, or something like that. I also want you to think about, did they get you to do that work? Did they get you to do something because they told you, they lied to you that you would get something good if you did it, right? Maybe they lied to you and say, oh, I'll pay you $2,000 at the end of this month if you do this. Maybe they lied to you and say, oh, I'll help you file for your green card if you do this, right? I want you to essentially think about a situation that you may have been in your past or currently right now, where somebody else they pull out of you, they take from you your hard work, your services, your labor, and you wouldn't give it otherwise of your own free will, right? You're giving it either because they're fooling you into making you give it, or they're threatening you into believing that you're going to suffer something if you don't do it, okay? And if you have been in that situation, this is called the T visa. It's for human trafficking, labor trafficking, commercialized sex. What is commercialized sex? It is anytime you are engaging in a sexual activity in return for something. You get something of value. If you don't do it, think about it this way. If you don't have sexual relations, maybe someone says, I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to hit you. So you do that. Well, you're not having sex out of your own free will, right? Let's say that you are working as a babysitter, a nanny, a housekeeper, and you stay 5 hours late because your boss makes a comment like, oh yeah, I love that you listen, because my last nanny, she didn't listen, and now she's no longer in the country because she got in trouble with immigration. Well, that's making a threat to you, right? There are so many examples. There are so many ways that this can happen. And if you have been in that situation, and if you have lost hope that nothing can be done, you have unlawful entry, you're not married to anybody who can help you, you don't have any kids that can sponsor you, or you have the permanent bar, so there's not really an easy way, this may be a solution for you. And again, I want to announce to you that if you call right now, You can book an appointment to speak with me tomorrow or on Monday evening. I have a limited number of appointments available for new persons who are calling the firm. So call right now, 212-248-7907. And if there are a lot of you who want to speak with me, then we'll put you on a list, okay? All right, 212-248-7907, and the appointment fee is $150, okay? And I also want to let you all know that I work with clients all over the US. Even though I am based in New York City, we work with clients all over the US, okay? All right, let's see what other questions I have. I'm married to a US, from Delphi. I'm married to a US citizen for 10 years and we have 2 kids and we're not together anymore. Do I need him to renew? Oh, Delphi, Ramadas, this is a very, very good question. If you have a 2-year green card, but you're no longer with your spouse, do you need them in order to renew your green card to get the 10-year card, right? And the answer is yes. However, you may be able to file by yourself without them if some of the things happen to you, right? If your spouse became controlling, jealous, possessive, they don't want you to go out, they don't want you to look nice, they don't want you to dress in a certain way, they don't want you to talk to your family, right? They threaten you with immigration. If your spouse kept telling you, like, you owe me for this green card, so you should do what I say, that's control, that's manipulation, and that's actually something called extreme cruelty and battery. Delphi, maybe your spouse put their hands on you. I don't really know what happened. But if you only have your 2-year green card and you are not together with your spouse anymore, you may be able to self-petition. Okay, Delphi, give us a call, 212-248-7907. And again, Delphi, if you call right now, you hopefully there's still an appointment available tomorrow or Monday night for you to speak with me, okay? And I'm looking forward. Miguel in New York City sent a second request because they still haven't responded for work permit, no receipt yet either. Yeah, Miguel, the unfortunate news is that if you're applying for certain immigration benefits right now, some cases, they're taking a very, very long time to send receipts. I don't really know what else we can do about it other than just wait. You know, the truth is that we're a little bit at the mercy of them, but hopefully you kept at least mail tracking to show that you did file something there, okay? How long does a T visa take? A T visa takes approximately 1.5 to 2 years for USCIS to approve. Yes, and Coconati Boy, it basically takes about 1.5 years, I would say right now. But I want everybody to understand though, like when I say a VAWA takes 3.5 to 4 years, when I say a T visa takes 1.5 to 2 years, this is fluid because sometimes it goes up, it goes down sometimes, but more often than not, it goes up because as time goes on, more and more people are applying, and like there's a lot of things happening at USCIS where they're having problems processing things quickly. Pretty Ali Berry Henny, I text you guys to start my T visa case. Oh, okay. Let me see if I can just send a message to my team right now. Pretty Ali Berry, I don't know who you spoke with, but let me just send a message. And if anyone else here wants to start their T visa case, please give us a call, 212-248-7907. Pretty Ali, I hope I'm expecting someone to call you soon. Anna, I am German, married to a citizen. We got married in LA and we lived in Washington State. And can I file for divorce state there? Can I do it online? I'm in Germany now. Anna, that's not a question that I can answer just because that is pertaining to divorce law, which is not something that I do. And divorce law is very specific to every state that you get married in or that you live in, okay? So I would recommend that you reach out to a lawyer. I would recommend that you reach out to a lawyer who's in Washington State. What's your percentage on wins on the court basis? On the court basis, like in removal defense, we have I don't do a lot of removal defense right now because I used to do a lot of asylums. I've won all of my cases in court, but I haven't done as many as other attorneys. But besides court, we do a lot of affirmative applications, and we have a very good run rate as well. We've gotten lots and lots of approvals. So if you're worried about what is your approval rate, basically you should know that you'd be in good hands. But I actually want to talk about that because a lot of people will ask, what's your approval rating? I mean, right now we are very close to 100%, right? However, it doesn't matter what the approval, I mean, it does, of course, matter what the approval rating is, but what matters more is how your team is going to fight for you. How is your lawyer going to fight for you? We know right now everything is basically a shit show, right? It's very terrible. It's really bad. Here's the truth. It is not easy being a lawyer. It is not easy being an immigration lawyer. When you're working with an immigration lawyer, you need to work with somebody who is strong. I'm not saying that I'm the strongest person, but I have a very, I have a mindset. The way that I look at cases for all of my clients is that I want to fight for you and I want to win for you. And I'm not scared to do that. And that's what you deserve. And I think, and I believe that's what most people want too. Somebody who's not afraid to put their foot out there for their clients. If I think that you don't have a good case, if I think that it's not going to work, I'm going to tell you that too, because I'm not in this for the business of just taking your money so I can't do anything. If I take your case, it's because I believe that we have a chance, right? So that's the other thing that you should look at too, okay? 212-248-7907. Thank you for all the follows and thank you for sharing my live. Thank you so much, Overcome. Okay, let's see. I think Rani Angel, you had a question that got cut off. I see part of your question. Overstay because somebody promised to help you and take money and pass away. Ooh, Ronnie Angel, that sounds to me kind of like maybe you're in a T visa situation. Now, here's something that you may not know. If you're in a T visa situation and your trafficker passes away or the business closes down, you can still do a T visa because there's no requirement for them to still be alive. There's no requirement for the business to still be open. And one of my T visas that I got approved, the trafficking happened like 20 something years ago. The business owner passed away. The restaurants closed down years ago, and he still got approved, and they didn't even say anything about that, okay? So don't worry if your trafficker has passed away, the person who promised to help you passed away, give us a call. Let's find out. We'll ask you some questions to see if you might qualify. Okay, 212-248-7907. Hello, I saw somebody say hello. Hamrani, hello. I think I see some clients here too. Hi guys, I hope you're all having a good Saturday. How much is my consultation fee? My consultation fee is $150, okay? Seeming Anwar, my I-130 was approved, but how long to get a termination of an asylum? Well, I mean, if you're in court, how long does it take to reopen your case? Okay, if you have a deportation order, I want you to know that if you have a deportation order and you're married to somebody who's a U.S. citizen, your I-130 got approved, you still got to go back to the court to get your deportation order reopened and kind of like vacated. And that could, if your case is already closed because the judge already issued an order, that can take 1 to 2 years. Okay. I made several requests for an RFE copy, and I have confirmations. Does denial mean deportation if I have an approved VAWA? Oh, okay. So if you have been approved for VAWA, you have deferred action, and they should be respecting your deferred action. Deferred action means that they will postpone, they will defer, they will not take action to deport you. So if your I-485 gets denied, you may, the reality is that you may get something called the notice to appear to go to court, because this is something that's happening for a lot of people right now. Earlier this year, because of this new administration, everybody here needs to know that if you previously had a denied I-485, you're probably going to start receiving notices to go to court, unfortunately. So it's something new that you're going to have to deal with. And, we're seeing a lot of our clients who filed with their spouses like 3-4 years ago. Now they're getting the letters to go to court. So if your RFE gets denied, you may get that, but it is not immediate deportation. You still get a chance to talk to the judge and give them your defense, okay? But if you get in the situation, give us a call, 212-248-7907. Andrew Jean, if I fill out, if I fill out my I-751 by myself and I'm still living with my wife, should I use the same address? I would not recommend it. If you are filing your I-751 requesting a waiver of the joint filing requirement because your spouse is manipulative, they're abusive, and basically you're filing your I-751 because you don't want to be under their control any longer. And you want to be able to live your life freely without them threatening your immigration case all the time, you should not use your own address. You should use a safe filing address. And that's one of the things that we do. When you work with us, we use our address and we are the safe filing address for all of our clients' cases. That way, whatever situation you're in, if you're still living with your spouse, you can file safely and confidentially. If you're worried about your spouse stealing your mail, because we have had so many people tell us of their citizen stealing their work permit, stealing their green card, hiding the passports, all of these things. The safe mailing address is very, very important in an I-751 case and in a VAWA case and a T visa case. And that is something that we do for our clients, okay? So give us a call, 212-248-7907. And again, if you call right now, I do have some limited appointments available to speak directly with me tomorrow and Monday night, okay? And if we fill that up, we'll put you on a wait list and we'll see what we can do, okay? But you will still have to book the appointment. VAWA approved. My interview is in a few weeks. What should I expect? I'm nervous from Ghost Sport Pick. Huh, what is your, all right. Here's the thing. If you have a VAWA approved and you have an interview coming up, should you be nervous? And the answer is don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. We've been having lots of interviews at our office. In fact, we have I think this week alone, we have 6 or 7 interviews. So multiple interviews in the same day also. So immigration is definitely calling people for interviews. But if you get called for an interview, number one, you're probably worried that it's bad news, right? Hey, Thais. Hello, my love. You're probably worried that it's bad news, right? It's not bad news. It doesn't mean anything, okay? We have seen interviews be issued for people with criminal arrests, without criminal arrests, with illegal entry or with illegal entry. And if you have a VAWA case, the fact that you got issued an interview notice does not mean anything, okay? Number two, what are they going to ask you? Well, again, they're probably going to just make sure that you are eligible for a residency. So what does that mean? If you have an I-485 interview, they're going to ask you questions about your immigration history because they want to see, did you cross back and forth? Do you have a permanent bar that you need to ask for a waiver for? Number two, they're going to definitely ask about your criminal history because again, they want to see, do you need a waiver? They're going to ask to see, they're going to check to see if you've ever lied to the US government to see if you need a waiver, right? Sometimes they try, and that's why you should never go to these interviews alone. They try to find out if your VAWA is real. They try to find out if your marriage is real. But here is the truth. When you have an I-360 already approved, the field office that gets your interview request for the interview for the I-485, they don't have jurisdiction on it anymore once it's approved. It's been approved already. So what I do for clients, if I have had interviews where the immigration officer has tried to be sneaky and ask a lot of questions. And I have to remind them that this is not allowed. It's already been decided. It is outside of your jurisdiction, and this is not a fishing expedition. Okay, because anything you say, they could try to twist it and they could try to send your I-360 back for revocation. So if you have an I-485 interview coming up, your VAWA has already been approved, please don't go by yourself. Please go with an attorney if you can and be prepared, okay? 212-248-7907. How long does the N-400 process take from baby girl Medina? I would say that N-400s can be anywhere from 3 months to about 8 months, depending on the city that you live in. Sekou, hello. Hi, how are you? How long does it take for the I-751 to be approved? It's pending. Mine has been pending since August 2023. And is it safe to travel internationally considering the recent things that have passed? From Abi. Abi, thank you so much for asking. I-751s can take anywhere from I would say 24 months to 48 months to be approved. And that is exactly why when you file for an I-751 right now, you get a letter that says that your 2-year conditional card is extended by 48 months. And if you have an I-751 pending should you travel, well, I'm very conservative about this. And I will tell you that if you do not have a green card, keep your travel minimum. Keep your travel minimum, even if you have an I-751. If you have a work permit with an advanced parole, don't travel unless you really have to. Because what happens is that if you have an I-751 that you have filed, especially with a waiver, sometimes even not, depending on where you go through, they can still ask you a lot of questions. And I have had people come to me who had their green cards revoked by Customs and Border Patrol at the airport because they saw that they're filing an I-751 and they go through their phone and they see something they don't like and try to get them to abandon their case. So the bottom line is that if you don't have to travel internationally, then don't. A lot of people think it's completely fine, and just depends. You never know when you're going to run into that one officer that's going to give you a hard time. Okay, that would be my recommendation. Amit is asking, the immigration judge granted me VAWA cancellation removal in 2022, pending visa availability. I'm still waiting. Is it safe for me to travel to Portland, Oregon on a plane? Amit, first of all, congratulations, my friend, for getting VAWA cancellation of removal approved in court. That is really, really big news. Is it safe for you to travel to Portland? I think so. I think you should be fine, but I would recommend that you discuss that with your attorney. Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Noli. Hello. Nadia, thank you so much for all the gifts. I didn't even see them. I just have a few more minutes left. Why did they add the country requests on the EOIR website? I don't know, but it does worry me a little bit. I won't lie. I have DACA. Can I get advanced parole to adjust my status from Tariq? Tariq, great question. If you have DACA and you do not have a legal entry and you do not have an advanced parole stamp in your passport, should you file for advanced parole? I would say yes, you should file it now before it is too late and they take it away. Once you get it approved, then you can decide if you do want to travel or not, but don't wait until it's totally gone, okay? Is there any way to speed up the I-824? If you can show a risk, an urgent risk for expedite, you can ask. NK Chaudhary, hello, Moumita. My TV's application was sent to USCIS on July through your office. When can I get the receipts? Thank you, NKC. I can't tell which client you are, but thank you for letting us work with you on your case and for being a client and for your patience, I'm sure. So when can you receive the receipts? This is something that you need to know, that they're taking 4 to 5 months now to give receipts on T visas and VAWA cases. That's the unfortunate news. So if you filed in July, it's been about 3 months, maybe within another 30 to 60 days, I would assume, okay? All right, guys. Again, if you want to schedule an appointment with us, give us a call, 212-248-7907. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Moumita Rahman, and I hope you all have a blessed day. I want to share with you something that I came across yesterday, which is a quote from the Bible that said, out of faith and love and hope, the one that remained was love. And at this time, when there's so much going on, when you are being told that you are illegal, that you don't matter, and that you don't belong, I want you to know that I believe you belong and that I care that you be able to get everything that you want, okay? I hope you all have a blessed day. Take care.